Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the REKAP Lunch Hour with Guff, me, Ryan McGuffey, brought to you by our fine partners at Hooters. Visit originalhooters.com to find one of the 11 Chicagoland area locations nearest you. What's up, everybody? Guff here in the REKAP studios with plenty of discussion topics here today. A couple of things I want to gripe about, a couple of things I need to take accountability for. But I'm here for that, and I'm here with you guys, and I know you'll have plenty of questions here in the chat. I've already seen them coming in prior to us hopping in. And a couple of things. The Cubs open a huge series tonight against the Dodgers. The last time they'll play the Dodgers this season, it kind of feels like that's all they've played is the Dodgers. And at the same time, it's crazy that on April 22nd, they're opening their final season series against the Dodgers until maybe the postseason. The White Sox are in Minnesota, but you know what is what it is. And a lot of smoke and fire around Ashton Jeanty and the Bears. I want to start with the Cubs, though, because Baseball Reference puts out their best chances to win the World Series. And they do this weekly throughout the year. And right now, they have the Cubs at 17.6% chance to make the playoffs, okay? Or not to make the playoffs, my bad. To win the World Series. To win the World Series. Playoff odds right now for the Chicago Cubs are 93.6%. To win the World Series, 17.6%. Then the Padres at 13.7%. The Tigers at 12.5%. Where are the LA Dodgers, you ask? They are all the way down at 11th. A lot to get into here, but right now, according to Baseball Reference, far and away, they have the best chance to win the World Series. Let's get to some of the comments as we get the discussion going. Eric says, Guff, put it this way. If Ashton Jeanty is not there at 10, get the best player available that will help the franchise in the long run. You could definitely build through the draft with the picks they have. There's no doubt about that. He also adds, looking forward to the Cubs-Dodgers 2-game series tonight and tomorrow. Hopefully we can get the sweep. Otherwise, Cubs are a very good team this early in the year. Just need to get the bullpen fixed. The real Phil Simms. Good afternoon, my friend. They win these two series against the Dodgers and Phillies. They're more than ready to go on a run, go get Alcantara from the Marlins. We'll see. They made a minor trade getting Drew Pomeranz from the Seattle Mariners. He hasn't pitched in the big leagues in a couple of years. He's been in their minor leagues for depth. He'll report to AAA Iowa today. Becky out in Oklahoma. If they sweep the Dodgers and win the series against the Phillies, they'd have a 6-2 homestand. I'm all in on a 5-3 homestand. You guys know how I feel about that. But in particular against these teams, I think 5-3 would be just fine. And of course, Shota, we know how well he pitches on the mound when he's at Wrigley and he's on the hill tonight. What's going on? Eli, my friend, happy Tuesday. Kyle, not sure if the Cubs can win it all. With the right moves by the trade deadline, it's a definite possibility. Just get in and see what happens. Certainly just got to get in. But let's run this down. And Godfather wants to chime in with a laugh. Folks, I'm reading this from Baseball Reference right now. The Cubs at 17.6%. The Padres at 13.7%, the Dodgers at 12.5% are the only three teams with double-digit winning chance to win the World Series. The Yankees and the Yankees and D-backs at 9.5%. The Mariners at close to 7%. My favorite is the Chicago White Sox, less than 1% chance, but the Angels, who actually have had a decent start to the season, are below the White Sox. So I don't know what the criteria is here. But that is where we are. That's why I asked the question in the chat. That's why we put it on socials, because this is a real topic. Adrian says if they make a trade for the Marlins pitcher and get a reliever, they will be right there with the other teams. With Carson Kelly hitting the way he is, they have one of the best batting lineups in the NFL. Well, I think you mean MLB. And secondly, we know that Carson Kelly won't lead the major leagues in OPS. That's a fact. But he has been phenomenal. And everyone's like, extend Carson Kelly. I know it's a joke off of the Kyle Tucker conversation. But folks, Carson Kelly's a 2-year deal here. The way he's hitting has been absolutely an unbelievably great find. He also says if the people in Chicago simply cannot understand how good Shota Imanaga is, man, way too disrespected by the fan base and the media. He's unbelievable. I'm not sure he's disrespected by either the media or the fan base, actually. I'm actually not sure about that one. I don't think he's disrespected here. Yeah, Wayne, less than 1%, which I think is too high. Okay? Less than 1% chance to win the World Series to me is too high. It should be 0. I think that's what we know. the 5-17 White Sox are. Mason Graham, all the way, I'm part of that group. Eli, I've seen some mocks that have Mason Graham slipping because, and this is what I've been saying, I think the Bears are in a great spot because I think other teams are going to do stupid stuff in front of them. I really do. And it's why I love where the Bears sit, because they have the most important position already done. They got Caleb Williams in a quarterback draft that's not very good. And if you read Albert Breer this morning, who did a deep dive on the 9 quarterback prospects and how teams see them, they say Cam Ward, who's by far the number 1 overall quarterback on the board, would be the 7th drafted quarterback a year ago. 7th. So I saw something that said if Shedeur Sanders' last name was Breer, he'd be a 6th-round pick. And that's where the desperation kicks in. There are GMs that have their job on the line, and they know if they can invest in a quarterback, it might save their job for another year where they can push the can down the road. I think that's why that's why I've been saying root for 3 quarterbacks should be drafted in the top 8. Okay. Because a player like Mason Graham is going to be the odd man out, and it's going to be like, why? He's clearly one of the better players in the draft. And this morning, ESPN's reporting that the Browns and Giants are fielding trade calls for 2 and 3. So Hunter and Jeanty are the 2 guys that people want in on, and Abdul Carter, the defensive end, after Cam Ward. All in. If I were the Giants and Browns, I would be taking those, holding those people hostage in some ways, and taking as many picks as I can. And I'd be moving down, because I don't think there's a difference maker player at 2 or 3 for them that would change them around, that they couldn't get at 12 and stockpile picks and make them a better team down the line. And rather than overdraft a Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders at 3, move down to 12, 15, 18, draft that same player and accumulate more picks. That's what I would be thinking if I were in the shoes. Of course, I'm not. Lip, I still like the Dodgers winning the World Series. If the Cubs address pitching by the trade deadline, they could be right there. I think they're already showing you that they're going out and getting small pieces. I think the Cubs, when they can find the time to be right and find a trade partner, will make a move. If Jeanty is there at 10, then sure, take him. I personally wouldn't. And build up your linemen on both sides first. Just excited for Thursday to see how the board falls. Okay, so Kyle, yeah, I agree with you. I would not trade up for a running back. Okay, it sounds, by all accounts, people I've talked to, things you read, that if Ashton Jeanty is there at 10, the Bears will sprint to the podium. Like they will elbow people out of the way to get to Ashton Jeanty at 10. I would not move. Why sacrifice the 39 or the 41 or both to move up 4, 5, 6, 7 slots to get the running back? I just love where they are. I think they're in a great spot to get a great player. And maybe the 3rd, 4th, or 5th best player on the entire board falls to them at 10, because that's what desperation does in the NFL draft. And I think that's what could happen in this particular draft. My guy, Breck. I'm going to see Breck in a few weeks. Looking forward to that. We may be doing the show together. I was thinking about that driving here today, Breck. We were texting this morning. We're going to be in D.C. in a couple of weeks. Kind of the most ironic of circumstances. That's for another day. This show's got to get done while we're out there. Just saying. I'm just saying. What is your plan for the draft? Are you headed up to Lambeau? Not going to Lambeau. I have been to an NFL draft when it was in Chicago with that guy right there, with Breck. It's an experience I think you should do once. It's become a much grander experience since that small theater day of Chicago. And I wish we can get a redo on that the way they do it now, but still cool. My plan for the draft, and folks, we're announcing this as we speak right now. We will be doing a live stream. It'll be Cap, myself, and Alex Brown right here on the channel. There will be a social push going out later today. We will be with you when the draft begins at 7 o'clock. We are firing up an NFL draft stream. We'll be right here for you to overreact, to react, to get our take on what's going on in the NFL draft. So as you're watching the draft, having a beer, whatever, use us as a sideshow experience, because we will be coming to you live from the recap right here. It'll be Cap and myself and Alex Brown, and we will be having a damn good time. And I know a lot of you guys will be with us having fun too. KC said the Bulls take next year. I'll be in the plan again just to sell seats. Tank next year. I don't know about that. Drew Pomerantz is typical Ricketts. Hey, Godfather, I know, buddy, that that we're all on the Ricketts train. There's nobody out there right now that you're going to acquire. It's just not. On April 22nd, you won't see these type of trades. At least get a few more weeks down the road and truly start to see a little bit of divide, that if your name's not the Chicago White Sox, not the Colorado Rockies, that you start to see some teams slip a little bit and go, okay, the Cubs are desperate. We might be able to get more now than later. Let's maybe find a deal here. Noah, go Cubs, go. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you guys so much. The Cubs will be so good. Think of it this way. Steele's out for the year. Will that make Jed trade our prospects for talent? 100%. Folks, they're just prospects. I am. We've seen it in this town where they've come up and they've been highly regarded and they've fallen flat, especially on the south side. Okay. The Cubs in 16 had a boatload of talent and a lot of it worked out. But for the long haul, the Cubs probably got that right by not signing anybody long-term, except for the Schwarber one. They didn't get that one right. But for the most part, guys, think about all of the Cam Smith talk when Kyle Tucker was traded. There were people complaining, oh, Cam Smith made the opening day roster. How's that working out? We haven't heard a damn word about him since, okay? Because that's what happens. I'm going to look him up, by the way. Cam Smith currently for the Houston Astros is hitting .232 with a .295 on base, .429 slug. He's got 3 homers and 10 RBI, and I know he's playing right field for them. But Kyle Tucker, he's a superstar. How worried are you about Dansby? Should he be moving up or down or sit for a game or two? You know, it's funny you bring that up. I do think Dansby Swanson needs to show more. Now, we heard a lot about how he was injured throughout the last parts of the last 2 years. We don't really have that excuse anymore, it sounds like. He's played in the league high 24 games. He's only hitting a .177 with a .567 OPS. Showed a lot of pop early. It's kind of regressed a little bit of late. And I want to do his game log. I know he had a 3-hit day the other day. But really, if you go all the way back to, let's just say, April 9th, Dansby Swanson is hitting .116 with no walks. 19 strikeouts, no walks, .116. And that's a 10-game sample size. It's not been great, Becky. Maybe you sit him, but you're paying him a lot of money to be really good up the middle and to be part of your lineup. So I'm not sure sitting is a part of that. Kelly will cool off, but if he can maintain being above average as a hitter, the Cubs are one of the few teams where they are deadly top to bottom. And I want to tell you, because it's worth reading. I mean, we're almost a month into the season here, folks, okay? I mean, for the Cubs, they are a month into the season because they started back in Japan. Can you believe this, by the way? Already over a month ago. If you look at the catching position, the Chicago Cubs have a 1022 OPS. It's by far the best. They have 27 RBI from the catching position. And that's a hat tip to Miguel Amaya, too. He's been very good. 14 strikeouts, 13 walks, okay? 14 extra base hits. 14 extra base hits from Cubs catchers, okay? There are 7 teams that have 14 or fewer hits from the position. I agree, Guff, they're going to bring up arm length. Really is a mediocre quarterback class. And I think it's mediocre probably at best. I don't understand why people are high on Banks. I hate tackles who are on the floor often, have sloppy footwork, love the tackle from Minnesota. I just seems like people aren't watching. I've watched film on Banks. I like Banks. I actually think Banks would be a good football player, and he's a true tackle. I do think he'll go in the top 10. Whether or not but I wouldn't be if you told me the Bears grab Banks, I'd be fine with that, actually. I think the Bears are going to get a better football player, though. I do. I think something crazy is going to happen in front of them, and it's going to force all of these other players to slip and fall to the Bears for them to have to make a decision. And this is a great, Christian brings up a good point. If Jackson Dart, because the Saints have quarterback issues now, if Jackson Dart is overdrafted and goes 9, that's where I'm thinking. Let's paint this picture. Shedeur Sanders is still on the board after 9. Jackson Dart, the Saints shock everyone, take Jackson Dart. Kind of like Michael Penix last year at 8. Are they sprinting to the phone to call the Bears at 10 and saying, hey, like, we need to get in front of these guys because I'm picking up. Let me get to the draft order here. So the Niners don't need a quarterback. The Cowboys, but like I think the Colts at 14 could do something really stupid. I do. I that's a team that could just be very crazy. Could the Pittsburgh Steelers be on a desperation train? I don't really see that. They're not usually a panicky type organization, but that's the kind of move that gets other teams to panic. I agree with you, Guff, about the White Sox 0% in the World Series. No doubt. Chef Paul, my guy. Chef special this week. Josh Berry to finish in top 3 in NASCAR Talladega Sunday at 10-1. Chef coming from the top rope with an off-color sport. I love the let's put the Sunday futures bet in now on Josh Berry. I'll tell you what, been to a couple NASCAR events. They're great, but I don't know a damn thing about Josh Berry, but I know a lot about Chef Paul. I'm a fan, and I will back Chef Paul. Top 3. I mean, this is a guy who had the Bulls to make the playoffs when we were all criticizing and laughing at him. He held that ticket almost all the way to a cash. Last time I saw Chef Paul was at a Hooters location near us. That was in particular the Hooters location. You should go to originalhooters.com to find one of the 11 Chicagoland locations nearest you, because you know why? Tis the season. I'm looking forward, by the way, to having a Big Daddy mug with a Breck Bear in a couple of weeks. Maybe we'll find a Hooters location out in the D.C. area. But here in Chicagoland, Summer Shandy, Dos Equis, and Blue Moon are the seasonal specials on tap right now, especially in those Big Daddy mugs, which are flowing at Hooters. I always talk all the time about the Buffalo Shrimp Special, the Mahi Tacos, the Tender Tacos. The prices are right, man. $10.99 for those Tender Tacos, $15 for the Mahi Tacos. And we like, as a McGuffey family, to finish the meal off with those cinnamon pretzel bites, because they just, they give the perfect punch to end the meal, and you wash it down with one of the $6 cocktails all day, every day. OriginalHooters.com. If you want to get takeout, it's order.hooters.com. Always there for you when you're hungry. And at some point, I'm going to have a big old delivery here of Hooters, because it's a great way to get the office smelling good for the season and to have some nice wings as I sit with my favorite people during the REKAP Lunch Hour, brought to you by Hooters. Phil, shout out to one of the baddest dudes in the business. Keep doing the damn thing. Appreciate you, Phil. Sean, I know Phil and his wife, I think, are going to tomorrow's Dodgers game. Absolutely no shot the Cubs should be favored to win. Too many holes in the pitching staff and at third base, says Sean. Now, for the most part, I think you could probably point a hole at every team. Maybe not the Dodgers, but I think every team you can look at and go, they probably need to be upgraded there or there or there and there. Did the draft simulator and was able to get Abdul Carter at 10. Like, if that were to happen, the Bears should be, again, sprinting to the podium and laughing their ass off on the way up there. More than likely, that won't happen come Thursday. Bears would have to move up and get Abdul Carter and pay a pretty penny to do so. And quite frankly, I'm not all that interested. Can't wait to see Show to handle business tonight. Talked to Cam Scatabo yesterday and finally heard Bears could take him with their last pick. I still think he's a hidden gem. We talked about him. I think he looks like Johnny Johnson. I'd love to know another comp, by the way. Johnny Johnson. I'm at work now. Clyde always at work. Clyde's the working man of the REKAP Lunch Hour. If Ashton Jeanty is there for the Bears at 10, they should get him. If not, I'd go with an offensive lineman like the NFL says on their mock draft. Yeah, Clyde, give me the big guys that can move people that way. Poles is at it again. Forget the trenches where games are really won. Hey, Godfather, let's not judge yet. You know, a lot of agents are talking smack right now. They're getting their clients out there. They want to hear that there's smoke coming. People are trying to trade up, move back. Bears, get panic going through the first round. I saw something. This is the latest since the common draft era, I think 1967. The latest ever where there has not been a trade involving a first-round pick leading up to the draft. We're 48 hours from the draft, and not one team has traded a first-round pick. Might tell you a lot about the draft itself. Drive Shakir 24/7. Hey, that sounds like somebody that works for the Illinois Tollway, now a proud sponsor of the Cubs and White Sox REKAP podcast. Bears don't move. They need all their picks. There will be a very good player at 10. Drive Shakir, you're speaking my language in many ways. I'm okay if the Bears move back too, because I think there could be a really good player at 10. I think there could be really good players at 10, and I want to see other teams get desperate. Kyle saying can't wait to tune in. Again, I will keep saying it. Live draft stream, 7 p.m. Thursday night right here on the channel. It'll be Cap, it'll be me, it'll be Alex Brown coming to you with our insight as the draft picks are coming our way. Give us a secondary screen option. Maybe give the draft a second screen option as we give you our insight and talk about the NFL draft first round on Thursday night. Swayze, I know yesterday I was saying the Raiders were the main team in the Jeanty race, but now I think the Pats could be in play too. He ain't making it to 10. I think the Jaguars are in play. I think the Cowboys could do something stupid and move way up. I think there's a lot that could happen. Sounds like I think I'd be surprised if there wasn't at least one trade in the top 5 leading in to Thursday night. Good. I'll be watching Thursday. Great idea, says Wayne. Go get Robertson. Becky's been wanting David Robertson for quite some time. KO return man. Totally agree. Clyde, people who think they're going defensive end are nuts. They aren't paying $16 million a year to sit on the bench or play a rotation. Eli, they won't tank next year. Sorry, autocorrect. They just want to sell seats. Yeah, if they didn't tank this year, I think it's really hard to think that they would do it next year. Lip, this draft pick the Bears make will tell a lot of who has majority say in their war room. I like polls, and I hope he listens to his coach's input. No doubt about it. Becky, the Bears might be pretty good. We hope so. Terry, every year with Dansby, it's great defense. He's going to hit like this for all of about a month and a half of the season where he gets really hot and salvages his numbers. Terry down on the $177 million man, Dansby Swanson. If Campbell falls, the Bears better not bring up arm length. When you watch the tape, his arms are not a factor. The kid is good. Do you know how many people talk about small arms, and then these guys get drafted because they slide down because of their arms, because people are scared of it, and then the guy becomes a Hall of Famer or a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro? There's several guys that had small arms that can move people's ass. And if the worst case scenario is he gets moved inside and is a guard and he's really good for 10 years, then so be it. Simply the best athlete at 10, says Wayne. Scott, hola, Guff. Hope all is well. Thanks. Thoughts on the Cubbies bringing in Trevor Bauer? I know the story. I get it. We need a pitcher in the worst way. You think they're desperate enough to bring? Hell no. I am adamant that they don't do this. We brought it up last week, Scott. He hasn't pitched in the big leagues in years, plural. I know, take the story out of it. Go read what the Dodgers were saying when he was suspended from the game. Read about how the Dodgers could not wait to get rid of him. Not wait to get rid of him. Go ahead and read it. He's been blackballed in theory. He was never found guilty, but he was suspended in the big leagues for, I think it was, 250 games or something like that. I think it was reduced to 216 or something like that. I would not do it. You can be desperate, okay? This team is good enough offensively to get you where you need to go. They have guys Chris Flexen should be here soon, okay? He's not sexy, but he's going to be a guy that can give you innings until you get the big name that you're looking for. I don't forget the Northwest Indiana Hooters, Clyde. I'm a proud born and raised member of the region community, okay? There's a Hooters in beautiful Portage, Indiana, all right? Don't forget about that one and all of the great Hooters in the Northwest Indiana area. So there you go, Clyde. I'm even giving you a place to go, my friend. Jeremy, at this point, the Bears have to show me. I have fed into the hype so many times before. 2025 is a show me season for me, Jeremy. I love it. I'm right there with you. Lip, NHL picks all to score 1 goal. Ooh, this looks like a juicy, juicy, juicy parlay. You got plus money across the board. Kucherov, Reinhart, Austin Matthews, Kachuk, and Jack Eichel. Woo! I bet you that is at least a 60-1 parlay. That feels juicy. Hooters in Fairfax, Breck says. Clyde, I love the Northwest Indiana Hooters. Breck's been to the Maryville location, okay? I could give you Hooters locations all day long. They're the proud partner of this fine program. All right? So I'm not leaving you out. Pablo will feel so much better about this Bears admin after this draft. As long as they pick up a lineman, running back, not a bad idea. Just worry about securing Caleb's safety. Let's just keep QB1 upright. Terry, this is the third look the Dodgers have had at Shota. Is this a problem? Look, you gotta play it both ways. I don't think it should be a problem. It's not like the film's not available on Shota Imanaga. He's been phenomenal at Wrigley Field as well. Okay. Shota Imanaga has to make adjustments too. So we'll take a look at that. What happens tonight coming up here on the bet of the day. Wayne, I deserve credit. I'm a Guffer, even surrounded by Cubs fans. I'm okay with it. Damn right, Wayne. Pump the chest, baby. Pump the chest up in Wisconsin. All right. Let people know. Clyde's giving Breck Bear a little love. The interview with Sonny Vaccaro was great. Like Cap, I'm a huge sneakerhead. Love the history and stories Sonny told. Check it out, Lunch Hour Crew, if you haven't. Yeah, kind of a one-off interview with Sonny Vaccaro, the man who signed Michael Jordan to Nike back in the day and kind of changed the trajectory of Nike, Michael Jordan, and his own career. Sonny Vaccaro's had some movies made about him. He just wrote a new book, had him on for about 35 minutes. We released it on Monday. Really good stuff if you're into long form kind of podcast type content. Great Michael Jordan stories. And it's just there. It lives on the channel, and we will continue to do stuff like that as needed and as it comes to us. I agree with Godfather, says Thomas. The Cubs need to take care of business in the division, especially the Brewers, for me to be confident on the playoffs. OD, get a running back in the second or third. That's where I'm at. Can't say it enough. Unless Jeanty is Saquon 2.0, it's not worth number 10 when we don't have a pass rush or O-line depth. I can't necessarily disagree with that at all. Becky, Brewers lost last night. Knowledge unlimited. Whatever the board says, outside the first 3 picks, I don't buy it. Colts are 50-50 on tackle or edge, likely take Will Campbell. I don't think Campbell's falling all the way down to 14 where the Colts are. We'll see. Guff, who's your pick for the Stanley Cup? I know the Avs lost last night that cost us a four-leg parlay. I still think I kind of like I like the Avs. I think they're going to be my team. That might be my pick for the Stanley Cup. Clyde throwing a shout out. Been to Maryville and Portage and Cherville and Lansing. I think Clyde's checked the Northwest Indiana Hooters boxes. There we go. There we go, Clyde. 6 Raiders like edge, 7, 8, 9 could all be edge. Who's at number 4? Will Campbell at 4. I don't know why I said the Colts. Oh, I got you. Oh, okay. New England. So really good stuff there. So yeah, I don't have the Aviators today. And quite frankly, this one's going to hurt because we had a monster parlay last night that included my bet of the day of OG Anunoby being over 22.5 points and rebounds. Okay. That never jumped to 23.5 later in the day. And I felt, okay, sharps are on this. That guy had a piss poor game. It just did not happen. We had 3 other props in NBA games. We had a 6-leg parlay at 37-1 last night where OG was the only one that didn't hit. And we played it just in a basketball sense for another 20-something to 1. OG, the only thing that did not hit. And then the Avs lost in overtime for our hockey parlay not to hit. So we were that close to a monster night across the way. But that's the beauty of gambling is you win some like that, you catch some sometimes on the back end, and so be it. I'm going tonight, playing the juice here. The Chicago Cubs team total shopped us around over 3.5. They average 5.5 runs a game at home. Dustin May's been really good on the mound for the Dodgers. I just like this Cubs offense so much that I think scoring 4 runs to them is like scoring 2 runs for everybody else. I'm going to ride that. It's going to be a warmer night at Wrigley, not cold. It's going to be warmer. The wind's going to be gusting, and I do expect some runs to be scored in this game. Shota doesn't give up a lot of runs, but I don't care about what the Dodgers do when I'm trying to root for the Cubs offense. I like this number at 3.5. I had multiple NBA games that I was throwing props in, and then I was like, let me look at the Cubs. I really like the Cubs at team total over tonight. Win tonight back to 91,000 sounds like BTC back to 91,000 sounds like a winning combo. Can't lie, if polls were running this draft alone, I'd be terrified. We'll see. Clyde is Indiana, no doubt about it. Here's my guy, Eric, Portage, Indiana, proud hometown of the Ryan McGuffey, also the Eric Munt as well. But I'm hearing the edge are being undervalued by the media. We'll go over some blue chip players. Eric Guff, if you look the real big picture regarding the Bears, who has been the first round pick to be really good besides Caleb Williams, that's fair. But I think the book is still out on Rome. The book will still be out on Rome. I have to go back and look. Why am I blanking here? As we try to wrap things up, I'm trying to get all of these in. Landon, going to have pancakes Thursday morning in honor of the movie Draft Day. Ashton Jeanty, no matter what. I'm taking my sons to one of those shooters when I have my car and have the boys' day with them. All right. I like it, Clyde. Hey, Guff, what style and player do you think Jeanty plays like? I think there's a little bit of sweetness there. I hate to compare anybody to Walter Payton. I just don't think those guys exist anymore. You're talking about a player that was drafted 50 years ago, which is crazy. 50 years ago this year, Walter Payton was drafted. He's got some finesse to him. He's got some speed. I mean, Saquon is kind of, I hate to compare him to Saquon Barkley, but that's kind of who he reminds me of when he hits the hole and then he breaks away. He really does remind me of that. I think Mason Graham, Jeanty are both there at 10. Tight ends are actually valued higher than we thought in this class. I'm not on the tight end train either. I'm not. I'm not on the Penn Stater. And that might be crazy. They may end up with him, but Mason Graham at 10 for me would be really, really hard to pass up. Really, really hard. Are you watching Draft Day with Cap the day before? We might just put it on loop, put Draft Day up here and let it ride. All right. We might just, that's what that we might be doing. Like the Cubs pick. Let's go Dodgers. Remember that big to score a goal parlay that Lip Ripper threw in there earlier. If you missed it, it's in the chat for sure when you go back and look. But we got the Cubs over 3.5 today is our bet of the day. We got off of our winning streak last night. Damn, OG on a newbie. Damn it. That would have been, when I say a monster night, folks, it would have been a monster night. But you win some, you lose some, you come back the next day, you find a way to win a damn bet, right? Not just win a damn baseball game. It's been the Recap Lunch Hour with me, Guff, for everybody here at the Recap. We're getting Katie back today, which is great. We haven't seen Katie in like 2 weeks. Make sure you go to originalhooters.com to find one of the 11 Chicago area locations near you. They got a great menu if you want to order to go. Order.hooters.com. Have a great day. Be kind to yourselves, and we'll see you again